Welcome back. Today, we're taking a fast-paced, highly visual tour through the foundational philosophies of landscape architecture. We're literally looking at how humanity shapes the earth to create beauty, order, and tranquility. Let's decode the major global types of garden design. Okay, let's dive into this right away. When you look out at a pristine landscape, you kind of have to ask yourself, who's really in control here? Are you aiming for strict human dominance over the environment? Or, do you prefer gentle emulation of nature's wild, unstudied grace? Because, honestly, that single question is the foundation of all garden design.
So it really boils down to two main schools of thought. First, we have formal gardens. Think precise, stiff, straight lines, perfectly trimmed hedges, and geometric symmetry built around rigid central axes. Then on the flip side, we have informal gardens. These totally disguise their underlying human framework to imitate nature, using flowing lines, gentle contours, and irregular natural shapes. It's a completely different vibe.
Section 1. Classic European garden styles. We're looking at lush abundance and manicured order. Take the classic English garden, for example. Specifically, the cottage style just bursts with this exuberant feeling of layered planting, rich textures, and intensely vivid colors. The whole goal here is to merge the garden seamlessly right into the rolling countryside. It creates this incredibly romantic, naturalistic look without any obvious artificial barriers. But contrast that directly with the Italian garden. Here, the flowers totally take a backseat. Italian gardens are all about strict order and stunning hardscapes. We're talking massive marble stairs connecting hillside terraces, clipped topiary evergreens acting as literal walls to create outdoor rooms, and cooling stone grottos tucked away for an intimate retreat. It is a true display of man's power over nature, brought to life with bubbling fountains and ancient stone urns. Moving on to Section 2, Persian and Mughal paradises. Think earthly paradises defined by heavy masonry and flowing water. Now, in the blistering heat of the Middle East, water is literally life. The Persians tapped natural springs to create what they called nahars. These were brilliantly engineered, straight, flowing canals that provided essential cooling water. And the planting along these canals was highly symbolic. You'd see fruit trees planted as a symbol of life, right alongside tall cypress trees representing eternity. Pretty amazing, right? You can immediately notice the striking visual similarities between the Persian aesthetics and the Mughal styles that followed. Both of these cultures masterfully utilized heavy masonry, highly polished stones, and perfectly symmetrical pools to carve out their own absolute slice of paradise. The Mughals, actually coming from mountainous terrains, specifically selected hill slopes near rivers to construct these massive artificial terraces. Sometimes they'd build up to 7 levels, representing the 7 planets. They surrounded these incredible spaces with high walls and bold, spiked iron gates for security and crucial shelter against the hot winds, all while lighting the pathways with gorgeous stone illumination lanterns. Section 3. Eastern Asian Garden Aesthetics. This is all about deep tranquility and deliberate wandering.
Now, what's really interesting here is the core philosophy. Chinese gardens aren't just, thrown together. They are explicitly constructed to recreate and miniaturize larger natural landscapes. As a visitor, you don't just wander aimlessly. You walk a highly deliberate, predetermined path carefully laid out by the designer. And this yields some truly vivid, dreamlike imagery. You see unique, ornate pavilions and architecture perfectly integrated with natural elements. We're talking enclosed walls, winding paths, decorative rock gardens, and incredibly serene natural ponds. The buildings and nature essentially become one single, cohesive entity. Japanese gardens share that profound reverence for nature, but with their own defining elements. Unlike the strict geometry we saw over in Europe, the Japanese garden totally embraces the irregular. You're going to find asymmetrical ponds, multi-level waterfalls imitating mountain streams, and arching wooden or stone bridges. And those bridges aren't just for crossing. They're actually designed to slow you down so you can appreciate the mysterious glow of stone lanterns and towering pagodas. In a Japanese garden, it's really not about bright blooms. The vegetation is chosen specifically for its shape and foliage. They prioritize the textures of evergreens, Japanese maples, and arching bamboo. The ultimate goal here is to cast striking patterns of shadow across the paths, creating a deeply tranquil, shadowy retreat for the mind. Finally, Section 4, Cultivating Your Own Space.
Let's bring this grand history right to your backyard.
Ultimately, the modern domestic garden can take on almost any identity you want. You absolutely don't have to choose just one. So I'll leave you with this question. Knowing what you know now, will you embrace the formal geometry of the Italians, the lush naturalism of the English, or the tranquil shadows of Japan? Which of these historical elements will you blend to cultivate your own ultimate space for mind relaxation? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.